By now, you've probably heard the buzz. BlackRock's in it, ARK invests in it, name any big asset company, and you bet they're in it too. The SEC is playing hard to get, but let's be real, it's only a matter of time before they give the green light. Yes, we're talking about the much-anticipated Bitcoin ETF, but hold your horses. Before we dive into how a Bitcoin ETF could be the financial world's next big disruptor, let's take a step back. Ever wondered where this whole ETF craze started? The birth of ETFs. It all started back in the late 80s. Wall Street is in turmoil and the American Stock Exchange, or AMEX, is struggling to keep up. It's like being in a sinking ship with no lifeboats. Enter Nate Most, a physicist, mind you, not a Wall Street hotshot. He's in his 70s and he's got an idea that's about to turn the financial world on its head. Now, Nate isn't new to the game. He's been around the block working at the AMEX, cooking up financial products. But this time, he's got something that's pure gold. He looks at the chaos and sees an opportunity, a way to pull the AMEX out of the quicksand it's sinking into. And that's when he comes up with the first ever exchange-traded fund, or ETF as we know it. You see, Nate's genius was in realizing that people needed a new way to invest, something that combined the best of both worlds. Imagine being able to trade a whole basket of stocks like the S&P 500 just as easily as you'd trade a single share of Apple or Tesla. That's what ETFs allowed you to do. And get this, unlike mutual funds that update their prices once a day like a snail, ETFs could be traded in real time all day long. It was like going from a flip phone to a smartphone overnight. But just when you thought ETFs couldn't get any cooler, the financial world said, "Hold my beer." Innovation never sleeps. Just 4 years after the first ETF hit the scene, Wall Street decided it was time for an upgrade. Enter ETF futures. Now, don't get me wrong, ETFs were great, but they had their limits. What if you wanted to bet on the future price of an entire index or a commodity? That's where ETF futures came into play. These bad boys allowed you to do just that, but with some extra perks. We're talking capital efficiency and the freedom to trade around the clock. It's like the Netflix binge-watching version of investing. You don't have to stop. And let's not forget the E-mini S&P 500 futures. These were the rock stars of the ETF futures world. Why? Because they were designed to be more accessible, like a VIP backstage pass that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. They were 1/5 the size of standard S&P 500 futures, making it easier for both big and small investors to jump in. Just when you thought the financial world had peaked with ETF futures, along comes a new player that's about to steal the spotlight. Bitcoin enters the scene. Now let's fast forward a bit to a time when a mysterious entity known only as Satoshi Nakamoto drops something called Bitcoin into the mix. Now this isn't just another asset, it's a whole new kind of currency, decentralized and digital. No banks, no governments, just pure, unfiltered financial freedom. At first, Bitcoin was like that indie band only a few people knew about. It was edgy, it was different, and it was making some noise, but not everyone was listening. Then something clicked. Maybe it was the allure of making transactions without a middleman, or perhaps it was the thrill of investing in something so radically new. Whatever it was, people started to pay attention. Investors, both big and small, began to see Bitcoin not just as a currency, but as an investment opportunity, a new frontier in the financial landscape. Just like ETFs revolutionized traditional investing, Bitcoin is doing the same for the digital world. And here's the kicker. These two worlds are about to collide in a way that could change the game forever. If you thought ETFs and ETF futures were groundbreaking, just wait until you hear how Bitcoin is setting the stage for something even bigger. The first Bitcoin futures ETF. Now what happens when these two worlds collide? Fireworks, my friends, fireworks! In October 2021, the first Bitcoin futures ETF burst onto the scene, and let me tell you, it was like watching a superstar make their debut. Now, you might be wondering, what's the difference between Bitcoin and a Bitcoin futures ETF? Well, when you invest in Bitcoin, you're buying the real deal, the actual digital currency. But with a Bitcoin futures ETF, you're not buying Bitcoin, you're buying a promise, a bet on where Bitcoin's price will go in the future. It's like having a backstage pass to a concert without actually meeting the band. So, why did Bitcoin futures ETFs get the green light before the real Bitcoin ETFs? Simple, it's all about easing into the unknown. The financial bigwigs wanted to dip their toes into the crypto world without diving in headfirst. Bitcoin futures ETFs were like the training wheels for the industry, a way to get a feel for this new volatile market. And here's why this is a big deal in our unfolding saga, just like how ETFs changed the game for traditional investing. And just like how Bitcoin is shaking up the digital currency space, the introduction of Bitcoin futures ETFs set the stage for something monumental. It was like the opening act for a headliner that everyone's been waiting to see. If you think the story ends here, you're in for a treat. So here we are at the edge of our seats waiting for the grand entrance of Bitcoin ETFs. But wait, why the holdup? Why haven't Bitcoin ETFs made their debut yet? Well, it's like waiting for the release of a blockbuster movie. There's anticipation, there's speculation, and yes, there's a bit of red tape. SEC is holding this up, but it's just a matter of time. Now let's talk about why a Bitcoin ETF is the next big thing everyone's waiting for. First off, it's a game changer for the big players, the institutional investors. These aren't your everyday traders, these are the giants with the power to move markets. A Bitcoin ETF would be their golden ticket into the crypto world, no fuss, no muss. But it's not just about the big guys, it's about you and me too. A Bitcoin ETF could bring a level of stability and liquidity to the crypto market that we've never seen before. Imagine a world where the wild swings of Bitcoin prices are a thing of the past. Sounds like a dream, right? And let's not forget the cherry on top, regulatory approval. The moment a Bitcoin ETF gets the thumbs up from the authorities, it's like getting a 5-star review from the toughest critic. It would send a signal loud and clear that Bitcoin has arrived and it's here to stay. So, as we stand at this pivotal moment, with the history of ETFs behind us and the promise of Bitcoin ETFs ahead, it's clear that we're on the brink of something extraordinary. The stage is set, the players are ready, and the financial world is holding its breath. So now back to you. Do you think the SEC will approve these Bitcoin ETFs? And well, how revolutionary do you think this will turn out to be? Comment down below. In the meantime, check out this amazing video on some of the most unusual investments you can make to earn some extra dollars.